Thank you for tuning in and welcome to Hobby Tips. The first guy we made from these Monopose dudes were this icon bearer, and then we made this light launcher. If you haven't seen those, I suggest you go back and watch them too, because it's there's like a narrative to this, as in bits we cut off will be used in the next ones. Remember this guy? We took his breastplate and arm apart and put the arm here. So we now have a little breastplate bit and a nice smooth area on the side where we can place an arm. So of course we're going to use the arm that this guy used to have. Furthermore, I've taken the backpack from the plasma gun guy, because now that he doesn't have his knife in his hand, he can have it strapped to the back. And since you have a boulder, he obviously is not going to have a boulder here, but instead these bells from Escape Plague Monk. Whoop. The idea for this came when I browsed the Warhammer community site, and there were a picture of a Plague Marine that simply had a handful of bells and stuff rather than a banner for his icon. So if we get my second icon dude, icon bearer, could have these bells. And this mini is perfect for it. Not only is his pose great for holding out and chiming with the bells, but he also has like a little bell in his backpack. He had a lot of, not backpack, chest plate. He had bells in his backpack, but we used that for this guy, and I want him to not look exactly like the original version of him. But I think there will be plenty to give the impression of him being the guy chiming stuff. Also, the little horn we cut off the side of this guy's head is going to come into use on this guy's head. So let's start with prepping his head. Next, we need to remove this hand, and once again, I really want to not damage the boulder too much, so that I can use it for another model. Ta-da! One boulder hand ready for another assignment in the near future. And the bracer is still whole, which should make it really easy to just swap hands. And yeah, this hand does not have a power armored fist, but we don't worry too much about that. What we do worry about though is all these little Skaven markings. We better get those out of the way. And then of course what you could do is you could take a small drill and drill 3 holes to make a nice Nurgle logo in some of the bells. But well, I might go back and do that later, but for now I'll just remove the markings. Just getting the bell free of the sleeve here, like that. The little rat tail coming out of the bell I'll keep though, because that's funny, and I'll just paint it up like I painted all the tentacles. You could also be pinning a lot here, but currently all I have is a set of clippers and a X-Acto blade, so, and some drills actually too, but no pins. And usually this Revel glue holds plastic together really good, so I'm not too worried about that. There we go. So we have now 2 things drying. While we're waiting for that, we might as well drill out the gun barrel. Right, let's get this guy put together because I want to see how the pose looks before I add any more. So the gun arm is going to go on like that. Looks good. And we'll let the glue dry and come back. Now for the backpack, and I think the backpack is a little boring as is, because if this guy is supposed to be an icon bearer, well, he needs a bit more bling. I mean, he has the little thingy there, he has the bells, but I think where we'll make him shine is by decorating his backpack. So starting with the top here, I'll just make a pilot hole. And then remember that grenade we cut off a little while ago that looked like a skull? Here it is. I'll just remove the split so that it doesn't seem so grenade, but more like a skull on a stick. And then what I want to do simply is I want to drill a hole down the pack and put the grenade stick thingy in there, because that will basically serve as a pin. Oh, sorry. I'll have to cut it down a bit more, but I'll do that off camera, and I'll be back once I've mounted the skull on the backpack. And finally, remember those bells? I'm gonna place those here on the backpack, and because I cut them off like I did, I don't know if the camera can catch this. This is the old camera after all. I think they can actually get a pretty good grip in here, so they won't break off all the time. At least that's the idea. Actually, they can be supported by the shoulder there, and still not look too weird. That should definitely make them stay. And that's that. The second relic bearer or carrier or whatever we call it. Again, quite custom mini. Doesn't look too much like the original. So yeah, that was 3. I have an idea for another one. So once I'm done here, I'll start building one that has that flail of contagion, I believe it's called, something like that. Just looked around at what I had here at my room at the hospital, and figured I could actually make a pretty cool flail plate bearer, not plate bearer, plate marine conversion. Anyway, if you want to see how I painted these up, there is a tutorial called Speed Painting Death Guard. And if you want to see these guys painted, be sure to follow the channel on Instagram and Facebook. I'll post the pictures there once they're painted. And of course, remember to subscribe to this channel so you don't miss the 4th and final conversion. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and bye-bye. So I want to remove the top spike here, and as with all the other bits, I'll try to be as careful as I can. Ouch! And not cut myself, but I did anyway.